What's up, YouTube? My name's Schmiddy. I'm back to another IdentityV YouTube video for you guys today. Today I am bringing the Hunter tier list. The Survivor tier list gets so much props, so much love. It was one of my most viewed videos, so thank you guys for that. I know you guys love these tier lists, and I'm going to try to come out with them every season. I just want to say thank you to MyLeg, Sprintzer and Mayhem for helping me with this tier list. They disagreed with some points, but I'm going to address those when I get to them. These are just my opinions, so of course they can be moved. It is dependent on your opinion. I'm just going based on what I see, what I play, what I see in tournaments, like I said, and what Sprintzer has told me. He's helped me a lot with this. I'm not a Hunter main, but I do play against these survivors. These Hunters so much as survivors. So just keep that in mind. We are going to get right into it now. Starting off with Dreamwitch. Dreamwitch is S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier. Dreamwitch has always been S tier for a very long time. Dreamwitch and Bloody Queen before the nerf were the two best hunters, and I think Bloody Queen was better than Dreamwitch. Then Bloody Queen got nerfed. Bloody Queen got nerfed. So, in my opinion, Dreamwitch is on a tier of her own. Dreamwitch can pressure survivors so much. Dreamwitch Cypher presence is high. Dreamwitch Cypher survivor presence is high. Her endgame is really good. It's very hard. So Dreamwitch, you go Patroller. You go Patroller Blink. Patroller guarantees a kill in 50 to 60 seconds unless the survivor has kited the Patroller out, which is very hard to do, which survivors are learning, by the way, but it is hard. But you go Patroller, then switch to Blink. It's very hard. Or Patroller to Abnormal, or some use Blink to Abnormal. Dreamwitch's Cypher presence, Cypher survivor presence, it's just so hard. In the Pro League, she is the most used hunter. In the Pro League, she is #1 hunter, round 1 hunter. She is the most used hunter in the entire game, tournament-wise. Rank-wise, it's of course not, because everybody has their variation of what hunter they want to use in rank, but this is for tournament. If a teammate dies in the middle of the map on Arms Factory against a Dreamwitch, it's basically a tie. At least a tie. At the most a tie, let me say. Dreamwitch, like I said, her map presence, if someone dies in the middle, then they leech one of the survivors' ciphers around middle, then they can't decode that cipher. They have to get that leech removed, which causes the other person to not be decoding to get that leech off. You guys are following what I'm saying. Dreamwitch, in my opinion, is on a tier of her own because Violinist, Bonbon, and Bloody Queen are tie hunters now. It is very hard to win in this meta for hunters. I feel bad for the iAliens, the All For Ones, the KKZs, the Sprintzers. It is very hard to win in this meta. If a Violinist kills someone in 30 seconds, you can still tie because you don't save. Bonbon, still tie because you don't save. Bloody Queen, still tie because Bloody Queen is a tie hunter now. If you don't save versus a Dreamwitch, and a Dreamwitch gets an early kill, it is basically a tie. Basically, you're starting the game off with a tie because of that Cypher presence. So, to summarize Dreamwitch has these the leeches that you can place on Cyphers, you can place on the Rescuer, so the Rescuer can't save again, so the Rescuer has to get it off, so no one's decoding. My point is, Dreamwitch has always been a top 300 and is now, in my opinion, on a tier of her own. It is just elite. Moving on, we have A+ tier. A+ tier, they are tournament. They are technically meta. They just aren't on the level of Dreamwitch. They will be played in tournaments. Starting off with Violinist. In my opinion, Violinist is the second best hunter in the entire game. He could be considered S tier. I just think he hasn't hopped over the wall yet. He can still be tieable. He can still be beaten. He's also not a first round hunter. He can be, but Dreamwitch is a better first round option. Sometimes Bonbon's a better first round option depending on the map. But going on to Violinist, he can easily stuff a save. He can easily kill you in under 30 seconds. Violinist map pressure is it's not as good as Dreamwitch or Bloody Queen, but with peepers, he can do something. If he places you next to a Survivor's Cypher, again, it's very... My team, before you, we do ban Violinist. Violinist is harder to us to beat than Dreamwitch in rank. In tournaments, we will ban Dreamwitch first, but in rank, Violinist is just... He's elite. He's being used in tournaments way more. You see him almost in every team. He's being used over Bloody Queen, not in the Pro League because Bloody Queen hasn't been nerfed in the Pro League, but these outside tournaments like the Japanese tournaments, he is being used way more. And yeah, Violinist, his note, it's hard to save versus him. It's hard to Cypher Rush versus him. It's very hard to beat a Violinist, but you can tie. If you don't save, that's what's the difference between Dreamwitch and Violinist. If you don't save versus Violinist for the first chair, you can beat him or you can tie him, depending on dungeon. But yeah, that is my opinion on Violinist. Moving on to Bonbon. Bonbon is better than Bloody Queen in my opinion. Bonbon's camp is insane. Mercenaries are learning to save versus Bonbon, but if it's not a mercenary, it's very hard to save versus him, which is why people are just letting him die in the first chair. Letting the survivor die in the first chair. If it's not a 3 Cypher kite, it's not worth trying to save. Because if you risk it and you get stuffed, then it's a loss. Bonbon, like I said, all these hunters are being used in the tournaments. All the data suggests that they're being used. They have winning records with Bonbon, but Bonbon's win rate is slowly going down because the survivors are slowly learning to counter Bonbon. But I do still think he's better than Bloody Queen because he can still get a win easier than Bloody Queen. Bonbon, if he gets an early down and uses bombs to pressure ciphers and they can't decode, he will get a win. It just depends how easily he can get someone down. But with survivors like Gravekeeper, Mercenary, it's very hard. And moving on to Bloody Queen. Bloody Queen was the best hunter 4 weeks ago, and now she is the 4th best hunter in my opinion. Bloody Queen got nerfed. Her movement speed is slower. Her mirror duration is slower. She is a tie hunter. You could get it down with Bloody Queen in 20 seconds, and you will still tie the match. She doesn't have Cypher presence that much anymore. She just doesn't. Survivors have learned to counter Bloody Queen. Map Sacred, she's horrible on Sacred, but that's the same with Bonbon and big maps. But you guys get what I'm saying. Bloody Queen Blink, Bloody Queen Teleport, one of those two, but she can only run those unless it's endgame abnormal. You use the Blink, you don't have it for 200 seconds. All you have is a mirror, and you really, like I said, if you don't save versus a Bloody Queen, you'll still tie. Even if you do save twice versus a Bloody Queen, you'll either win or tie. Bloody Queen it's very hard to win with Bloody Queen nowadays. The nerf really did hurt her. She's still she will still be used. She can still be used first round. It just depends how confident you are. But I do think Violinist Dreamwitch is way easier to get a win with than Bloody Queen. Bonbon and Bloody Queen are the 2 tie hunters. You get a tie with those. You don't get a win. You don't lose very often. You get a tie. Dreamwitch and Violinist are the ones that you can get a win with easier than the other 2. But to recap, Violinist, in my opinion, is better than Bonbon and Bloody Queen by far, in my opinion. And then Bonbon and Bloody Queen can be interchangeable depending on your opinion. And but I do think Bonbon is better than Bloody Queen just because he has that factor of stuffing a save very easily, and if he does stuff a save, then that is a win. Moving on to A-. These are hunters that will or can be played in the tournament depending on which hunter, which team, and what map, basically. These are hunters that I like to call specialty hunters, just like B. You have to be very good with them specifically to win with them, unlike other hunters where it's easier to learn rather than Dreamwitch, of course. Bloody Queen, you can get a tie easier than you can get a tie with Axeboy, basically. But if you're really good at Axeboy himself, it will be easier to win with Axeboy than, so on and so forth. I would like to say, for the rest of this, A-, B, and C, you can interchange the tiers itself. Like, Spider can be better than Axeboy. Wu Chang can be better than Spider. Feaster can be better than all of them. It just depends what map, so on and so forth. Wu Chang's better on bigger maps than Axeboy. Axeboy's better on smaller maps. Spider's better on red shirts than all of them, etc., etc. It just depends. I just wanted to let you guys know that, because it's very hard to make a tier list when the hunters are this close together in skill level. In my opinion, Axeboy is the best on A-. Axeboy, his new buff is super good, super scary. It is a tie hunter, like I said. It's very hard to win with this hunter, but he can get a tie. The fireball, it's very hard to dodge that fireball, but if you do dodge that fireball, he will be kited. It's very hard to save versus a good Axeboy too. You will get double hit if you can connect that fireball. The fireball comes in so fast, and plus the decreased movement speed when you're trying to kite him. It's very hard to get dungeon at the end game. So, yeah. It is not in the Pro League yet because Bloody Queen and Axeboy have not been nerfed and buffed, but in the Chinese tournaments going on that isn't Pro League, in the Japanese Pro Circuit and tournaments, Axeboy is being used. He's being used a lot. Axeboy's win rate is high. Not win rate, but he is tying. So if you guys keep up with the tournaments in other regions, he is being used. He's being played. China's win rate for rank, he's very high. NAEU, he's being used in rank. So, like I said, I do think he is the best A-. His buff really did help him out, but he could be arguably worse than Spider, Wu Chang, Feaster. It just depends. Alex, who is the #1 hunter in China right now, is a Axeboy main, but I do see him get quite a lot of ties, so it's just opinion-based. Moving on to Spider, I do think Spider is the best tournament hunter right now because there is not much data on Axeboy. Best tournament hunter right now in A- is Spider, in my opinion. Spider is a tie hunter, like I said, but he can pull out a win easier than Wu Chang and Feaster because Wu Chang and Feaster can be punished kiting. Spider in the Pro League right now is being whipped out 3rd round and 4th round by many teams, and he is seeing a very high success rate. With 3 bans, 4 bans, Spider is kind of scary. And in the NAEU tournament, you saw Roland, who's a very talented Spider, beat us because he did get basement, and Spider basement is absolutely scary. Spider's movement speed with the webs, of course, the web shot, you can potentially stuff a save if you're with a little luck sided, but a lot of skill. And yeah, he doesn't have the best Cypher presence, he doesn't have the best Survivor presence, but he can get a tie if he gets it early down. Like all these hunters, A- and below, if you do get kited, you're not going to win. But Spider can get that early down with the webs. He can set up webs so you're slow when the rescuer comes. He's slowed down, and he's very, 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 very scary on Red Church. But he is not good on Moonlit, so that is why he's not A+. He's not good on every map like the A+ and S. So moving on to Wu Chang. Wu Chang is very good on bigger maps. He's better option than Axeboy and Spider on bigger maps, but on smaller maps he is not good. Also, survivors that know the spawns and they know if they're going up against Wu Chang, they will know he's about to umbrella somewhere. So if the mechanic is still there, she'll get near a pallet, so on and so forth. Wu Chang can be punished by kiting. Absolutely punished. He can get 3 Cypher kited easier than a Spider can get 3 Cypher kited, in my opinion. Against a really, really good team, it is very hard to get a tie with Wu Chang. It is very hard to get a win with Wu Chang. But he can get a tie and win with Wu Chang if the survivors do make mistakes. The Soul Siphon, you guys see it. If a Soul Siphon can stop a save, it can stuff a save. The Black Form Bell, if a hunter runs Presence, he has that bell instantly on Black Form. After 1 hit, of course, and it just makes the kite really bad. Wu Chang is a tie hunter, but I do think he's obviously A- in my opinion. Again, he could be ranked better than Spider. He could be ranked better than Axeboy. I just personally, in a tournament setting, do not think, because I think Survivor teams can punish him more than Axeboy and Spider. And lastly, A-, we have Feaster. Feaster is on the edge of being A-, in my opinion. Feaster can be punished in kite. His tentacle presence is just too much. On big maps, he can be easily rotated, just like every hunter on this tier except Wu Chang, but Wu Chang can still be rotated. Feaster's tentacles, that curse mark is hard. If you get basement with a full presence Feaster, good luck to you. We were practicing against Feaster and practicing. Bubbles did get stuffed. We let him. We made fun of him, but it's all fun and games. But in all reality, Feaster is used in tournaments right now. Not a lot, but he's brought out sometimes. Feaster again is a specialty hunter. You need to be good with Feaster to bring out Feaster. But if you need a tie, you can go Feaster. If you really go with Feaster, you can get a win if you stuff their double, hit the Merc. But, yeah, it's very hard. You have 3 bans, though, so this is why he's not going to be played in 1st round, not going to be played in 2nd round. And maybe not even 3rd round. These hunters in A- are used, they're probably 3rd, 4th, 5th round, depending on how you feel. You're not going to see these hunters in 1st, 2nd, and you might not even see them in 3rd round. So to summarize, these hunters are very good. You will see them in tournaments most likely. Not all of them, but you will see them depending on the band's map and what the hunter's feeling, as well as, again, these are tie hunters. You're not going to, I can't stress enough how hard it is for hunters. Hunters is so hard in tournament. Yeah, hunters win rates in rank is high because rank is different from tournaments, but in my opinion, Feaster, like I said, is the worst of these 4 just because he can be easily rotated, and big maps he is just really bad in. Moving on to B tier, these are hunters these are literally specialist hunters. These are hunters that are very hard to get a win with, but only if you're good with them, except for Mad Eyes, and I'll get to that. But these are mostly rank hunters. You might see them in tournaments if you are a specialist, like Sprintzer and Clown, Blue Race Car and Photo, like those. But moving on, Mad Eyes. This is tough. Mad Eyes is the hardest hunter to learn. He is simply the hardest hunter to learn. There is no hunter in this entire game that even touches the difficulty level of Mad Eyes. That being said, Mad Eye's potential is S tier. No, let me slow down. Mad Eye's potential is A tier. Mad Eye's a very, 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 very good Mad Eyes is very, 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 very scary. That also being said, you don't see him in tournaments anymore because you can run counter builds, counter comps. Doctor, Enchantress, Forward. Need I go on? If you run Coordinator, if you run a counter comp against Mad Eyes, he cannot win. There are also only a select few maps that he's good on, but on those maps he is a absolute tank on. Red Church, Sacred, he's pretty good on Sacred. Arms Factory. This being said, I put him in B because yes, he is very, very, very good in the right hands, but he is not used in tournaments because he can be counter comped. If a team knows you're going Mad Eyes, they can just counter comp you and he cannot do anything. Nothing. He can't do anything. Mad Eyes can be put, with a strong argument, he can be put anywhere on this list except S. A strong argument. But with tournaments, I can't put him higher than B because he is just not used that much. Moving on, we have Clown. The number 1 hunter of season 11 in China was a Clown main. The top 2 hunters last season were Clown mains in NAEU. Sprintzer's a Clown main. XC, he was a Clown main in NAEU. My point is, clowns are scary in the right hands. He's not everyone's forte. He won't be in everyone's arsenal of hunters. But if you're playing a Clown in a tournament, you know that Clown is scary. It is hard to get it's hard to beat a really good Clown on a really good map like Moonlit. It's hard to beat a really good Clown like a map on Red Church. In the Pro League, Xrox Hunters, they actually ban his Clown a lot. So, Clown is a scary hunter with his dash, with his slow drill. His early game is garbage. He usually gets a chair by the 4th when 1 cipher pops, but it's that double hit. If you double hit the Merc is down on the ground forever. If you drill someone, they can't be healed. As well as his propeller. If it's a smaller map like Red Church, he has map presence. Clown can get a tie. He can get you a tie if it's a good Clown. It's hard to win as Clown. It's hard to win as any of these hunters. But a Clown is very, very, very scary in the right hands. He is mostly a rank hunter because he's very hard to play in tournaments against a coordinated team, but against a really good team, against a really good Clown, he is hard to beat. Like I said, he is in the tournaments. He's played in rank a lot in the China League. He's played in rank a lot in NAEU, but like Skywalker, but we just have to see, right? We just have to see. Skywalker is a very, very talented Clown, and that's all he plays. So, like I said, Clown is very, he can be easily countered, which is why he's not A- or A+, but in the right hands, he can be very scary. Moving on to Photo. Photo is a very, very luck-based hunter. This is where Sprintzer and MyLeg deferred from me. They think Ripper's better than Photo. I think Photo's better than Ripper. Photo can punish survivors if he has a good early game. If he hits 3 survivors, it's so hard. If he chairs the survivor first camera, it's so hard. That being said, against a good team, they can communicate and say where he is. That's why he's way better in ranked than in tournaments. That's why we don't see him in tournaments that much, because a well-coordinated team can call out where he is, can say, oh, if he's bottom broken, then die back gate. If he's first stop, then die fourth stop. If you can't get the fourth stop, die third stop. He won't find you. On big maps, he is horrible. On small maps like Arms and Red Church, he is amazing. So again, it's map dependent. But that being said, I do think he is better than Ripper, because at the end of the day, he can punish a survivor team if he has a good early game. Yes, he can be punished if he doesn't have a good early game, but he can rebound. Ripper, if he has a bad early game, he cannot rebound at all. So, in my opinion, Photo is better. He is used more in tournaments than Ripper. Ripper is non-existent in tournaments. Non-existent. He is not used. Just because, I'll get into that. But Photo is used in some tournaments. We saw him in Cola 3, used by 5HS. He 4-manned. He was really good. But again, he found the person near Shack, got basement. A Photo basement is scary. Photo is very, very dependent on luck and early game. Moving on to Ripper. Ripper is not C tier. Ripper, we're seeing a resurgence of Ripper in China rank and Hunter rank. I mean, in China rank and NAEU rank, because he was never nerfed. Survivors just got better. Ripper arguably is better than Photo. Sprintzer and MyLeg made a good point. If you don't have a good early game with Photo, you will get punished. That being said, if you don't have a good early game with Ripper, you will be punished. But that his camp is pretty decent. You can get a double hit. All for One's Ripper's really good. KKZ's Ripper's really good. Sprinter's Ripper's really good. But it is super hard to get a tie and a win with Ripper. We saw that in the tournament, in the NAEU Summer Tournament. Ripper played flawless. Sprinter played flawless Ripper on Leos. Still got a tie because it's so hard to get a win with this Hunter. I can't place him higher because it's easier to get a win with Clown and Photo. And, of course, Mad Eyes, if it's good Mad Eyes, than it is with Ripper. If you miss 2 Foggies in your chase, it's hard. But Ripper full presence is very scary. You cannot see him forward. It's hard to dash his forward into a invisibility Ripper. His speed boost helps a lot. But his early game just isn't strong enough to be viable in tournaments and even rank. It's hard to win in rank as Ripper. So that is why I did put him here. Violinist is just a buffed Ripper. Axeboy is just sort of a buffed Ripper. So I can't put him higher because he is not. All the Hunters on this list above Ripper have been used in tournaments. Ripper has not, because you can't win with Ripper. He's easily countered. To conclude the B tier is, like I said, specialty Hunters. You won't see it in a tournament unless you've been maining this for seasons. These are not Hunters you just pick up and know. Mad Eyes can arguably be put on any tier except S, in my opinion, but his skill gap is so high and he can be countered by a counter comp in tournaments that I just can't put him higher. Moving on to C, these are Hunters that are not viable, unviable in tournaments, not viable at all, and they are just played in rank. These Hunters, obviously, they can be interchanged all you want. Just like B, you can interchange all of them all you want. You can put Photo better than all of those if you feel fit. You just have to back it up. Starting off with the C, Gamekeeper. Gamekeeper is the best by far on this list. C tier. His hook is broke. I mean, you can dodge the hook, obviously, but that hook can go through chairs, rocks, walls. It can go through the map. I mean, his hook is insane. A good Gamekeeper can get a tie. His camp isn't that good, but a good Gamekeeper can get a terror shock if he's lucky, if he times it well. But a Gamekeeper, not much to be said. He's pretty bad, but for C, he's the best. He can hook walls to get closer to closer to a survivor. But if you miss that hook again, that's GG's. You're not coming back from missing a hook. You're just not. If you miss 2 hooks, it's actually GG's. Even if you get chair, terror shock, you're not winning. His basement camp, though, is insane. He's probably the strongest basement camp hunter in the game, aside from Bon Bon and all that. And now we have Anne. Anne, in my opinion, is better than Geisha because Anne, she's not a complete bot. The cats can stuff, but survivors did learn how to counter Anne's camp. Survivors did learn how to kite Anne. She's just simply not good enough in tournaments. You will get punished if you go Anne. The cats are too hard to hit against survivors that know how to dodge the cats. I mean, there's not much to say. With that second ability where she can move the cats, she can become good, but you have to get that second ability, and all you can run on Anne is teleport. If you run blink on Anne, you've lost because you have absolutely 0 presence. 0 map presence. That's the same with B. Photo and Ripper have 0 map presence whatsoever. 0, 0, 0. Gamekeeper, 0 map presence. Everyone in A minus below, except for Wu Chang and Mad Eyes, have 0 map presence. That being said, back to Anne. Anne is C, the second best hunter in C, but again, she's not good in tournaments. Cannot be used in tournaments. Never will be used in tournaments. And moving on, we have Geisha. This is tough because Geisha PC, Geisha Lizard are really, they're quite scary because they can dash through walls. She can dash through walls. Lizard PC is actually pretty decent. China lizards are nice. Same with Clown, but we're not getting into that. This is for tournament only. Geisha and Lizard will never be used in tournament. Geisha can be easily kited. Geisha's camp is bad. Geisha's endgame is bad. Geisha's chase is bad. Everything about Geisha is actually kind of bad. You can only run teleport with Geisha. Maybe Peepers. Big maps, horrible for Geisha. Geisha needs a buff. I mean, ranked survivors can't really kite Geisha, but in tournaments, these survivors know how to kite Geisha because they've practiced all the early game with Geisha, like season 1, 2, and 3. They just play Geisha. So, Geisha does have a good point where she can fly, she can hover. She's really good at that. If she does connect it, she can double hit when she's camping a chair. But again, guys, it's very hard. Moving on to Lizard. Lizard mobile, very hard to play, easy to dodge a stomp. He can stuff saves, yes, but it's very tough. He will not be used in tournaments. He needs a buff too. His map presence is better than Geisha, better than Anne, because he can jump half the map, but he's just not good. Kiting a lizard early game is very, very easy. You just wait for him to jump, see where it lands, throw a pallet. He can't, like I say, it's very easy to kite. He's not good on every map. What are you going to do when he gets in when you get to hospital? He can't do anything hospital. He can't do anything shack. Yeah, like I said, there's so many counters to this guy. It's not even worth playing him in tournaments. Ranked, though, on the other hand, if you want to have fun and you're really good with him, you can win. Hell Ember is... Lizard can be argued. I'm just thinking a PC factor. Lizard can be argued that he's worse than Hellember. Geisha can also be argued that he's worse than Hellember. But Hellember to me right now is the worst hunter because his early game is so bad. I mean, he's the default hunter for a reason. He cannot catch a good survivor. He'll get looped in tournaments. He'll get kited in tournaments. By anything, he'll get kited. His camp is the only thing that he has going for him, and against a good team, the saver should be able to save. I'll be honest. So, in my opinion, Hellember is the weakest hunter. With the buff they added, they did give him a soul at the beginning, and they made it. I actually don't know the specifics, but again, he could be better than some of the C hunters, but he's just not. He's not tournament viable. He's just rank viable. We have hunters like Call Me Duty, who's very good with Hellember and could beat a top team with Hellember, but Hellember in tournaments is just, again, guys, he's just not viable. But to summarize C tier, these are hunters that you will never see in tournaments, very hard to beat in tournaments, and just rank viable. Thank you guys so much for watching my hunter tier list. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, and please comment down anything you would disagree with. I love reading your guys' opinions. If you agree, I love reading that too, just so I know I was somewhat right. I am not a hunter main, but I feel from watching the tournaments and what I play against. I'm confident in this tier list. Like I said, A minus, B, and C, they can be interchanged in that tier. Spider has specialties that Wu-Chang doesn't. Wu-Chang has specialties the Spider doesn't. Clown has specialties that Ripper doesn't, so on and so forth. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram. We're close to 2K, and follow me on Discord. We are close to 1,500. I mean, we're close to 2K as well on Discord. So thank you guys so much for watching once again. I hope you guys did enjoy. To wrap it up really fast, Dream Witch is the best hunter in the entire game, and the worst hunter in the entire game is either Geisha, Lizard, or Hellumber. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Have a great night, great day, wherever you are. Stay safe, and yeah, bye-bye.